Katie Jones brings pride and artistry to her work as a welder. Her story is a great example that where you are now or where you're from does not limit where you can go or what you can do in this industry. There's a big gap between me and you. And there's not a lot of people in that gap. Right? There's a couple generations of people that we're missing, and it's not that we stopped needing welders and plumbers and electricians. We just stopped bringing people into it, and we made do with older people, and now we're at the point where we're leaving. Like, we're getting out of the business, and there's 30 or 40 years of knowledge that needs to get transferred to people that are doing this for 6 months. Right?
Exactly so. Exactly so. A thing is about it though is I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by trades because your parents are pushing you for college and pushing you for this 4-year, diploma and pushing you to do this and pushing you to do that. You don't even think of a trade.
It's more true than you realize. I mean, my parents were both blue collar people.
Right.
Right. And I didn't really want to go to college, except I had to go to college to do what I wanted to do. Originally, I wanted to go and enlist, and my dad's like, hold on. We worked our lives as your parents to put money away so you could go to college, and for what you want to do, you should do that first, because if you don't do that, you may never come back to it.
Exactly.
But that part is so untrue. It
is.
Untrue.
I went to college too because my parents told me I should go to college. And
so tell me that. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? What did you do first, and how did you get here? 'Cause that's the story that people want to hear, because there's a bunch of other people out there that are like, I don't know, but they feel like they need to go to college. And people are telling them you need to do that because they don't know that the opportunities that you're seeing now exist, and they just don't know what to tell them. But they know, well, if you go to college, then you'll get a good job.
Growing up, I was put in homes and all of that, but eventually my grandparents took me for a little while. And my uncle was in the pipeline for many, many years. He actually died on the pipeline. So
on the pipeline?
Like, he worked on the pipeline, he had a heart attack.
So the pipeline is, because people don't know, what pipeline are you talking about? Like the Keystone Pipeline?
It was the one in
Colonial
Ohio.
Pipeline? So moving petroleum products from place to place.
Like, he had his own rig and everything. He was always up and down the East Coast welding pipe all the time. He was home like once a week, a month, if that. And other than that, he was just always on the road welding. And I don't know. I always wondered, I'm 25 years old now, so I've been thinking for a long time, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I went to college. I actually, because of everyone telling me I needed to go to college, I graduated high school early with an advanced diploma, which means nothing, by the way.
Some people are going to be very disappointed to hear that.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, everybody. It doesn't matter. All they care is that you graduated. But I worked very hard for it. And then after that, I graduated a semester early from high school, and I went to TCC. Not the trades. I went as general studies into school because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I was like, well, everyone's pushing me to go to college, I guess I'll go. So I went, and I passed my first semester. But after that, I was like, why am I even going here? Like, I'm literally going for general studies. I don't know what I want to do. I'm wasting my time and money. And so I stopped going to college, and then I had been in the restaurant industry since I was 16, so I just went heavy back on the restaurant industry and just started bartending and serving and bartending and serving and bartending and serving for years up until I was 22, 23. And then I finally was like, all right, we have to figure something else out. You need benefits, you need a 401k, you need to make a living, and there's only so much you can make where you're at. You've gone to the max amount of growth. Unless you want to own a business, this is what you get in the restaurant industry. And I didn't want to own a business in the restaurant industry. It just wasn't personally for me. And growing up, my papa always said, well, why don't you do a trade? Because I always was a tomboy. I'm one of 3 brothers, so I was always trying to keep up with the boys. And he was like, Katie, why don't you do a trade? He was like, just put your boots on and go home after and, be yourself again. And I looked at him, 16, with my fingernails painted, and I'm like, you're crazy, Papa. You are crazy. So now I get to tell him, he tells me, I told you so.
And Papa is the one that worked on the
No,
pipeline?
Papa is my grandpa.
Okay.
My uncle was the one that worked on the pipeline. My papa was actually an ATF agent, but he was the one who raised me for a good amount of years of my life when I was going through homes. And it was his idea that pressured me and pushed me. But at 16, you know, a 16-year-old girl was not thinking about that. At least I wasn't. And I was like, you're crazy, man. And back then it was like 2015, so it was a different world too. I mean, I know that's not that long ago, but it was different. And finally, I was looking up trades, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Forget it. I'm gonna try it. So I came here, and I ran a bead, and I didn't even come here like to weld. I came here to tour.
And here is the
Skilled
Tidewater Community College
Yeah.
Skilled Trades Academy.
Yes, the Tidewater Community College Skilled Trades Academy in Portsmouth. I came here, and I came with my foster dad, and he knew one of the instructors here. They're no longer here anymore, but he let me run a bead, and instantly, I haven't stopped since. I have not stopped since. And as a little girl, I actually wanted to do cosmetology for a while too, because I love art, and I love like the art of makeup and everything.
I suspected you were going to say that you had an artistic talent.
I didn't know it. I didn't know. Like, I just thought makeup was makeup. And then as I started welding, I noticed that I use the same techniques with like my hands and my pinky and all that I do on my face that I do on my welds.
It's just a different medium, right?
It's
whether you're
insane.
using a pencil or a paintbrush, you're putting material down in an artistic manner.
And
you could do it like me, and you could splatter it
insane.
all over the page like a bad Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
Or you can run that row of dimes and make it a pretty looking weld.
Yeah. And honestly, it's insane. I mean, you really can. You can make it beautiful or awful or however you want. But welding is an art, and it's a passion of mine I never, ever thought I would have. And honestly, I'm so glad I found it, because I was lost. I mean, I'm 25 years old. It took me a while to find my career. I tried nursing, I tried cosmetology, I went to TCC Community College in Chesapeake for a semester, like I said. None of it worked. And I finally figured it out. And I never thought I would. And honestly, I've been turned down by a few jobs because they're like, you're a welder? And I'm like, yes, I am. I sure am. I'm not lying to you.
You say at 25 that you were lost and it took a while, but I don't think that's at all unreasonable for most people. And
I'm so glad you say that, because I was so pushing myself, like, you need to figure out what you need to do. Like, you're getting older, you have to figure this out.
I think there's a transition, and I've said this to people before. If you look at it in like, growth happens in these like 4-year blocks. Like, who you were at 18 is not who you are at 22, and who you were at 22 is not who you are at 26.
Absolutely not.
And there should be a lot of growth that happens in there, and you should be out discovering the stuff that you want to, what you like and what you don't like, what you're good at, what you're not good at, but not feel like if you don't have it figured out by the time you graduate high school, by the time you graduate college, or even by 26, and feel like my life is rudderless if I don't know what I want to do, if I don't have it all figured out, whatever
Honestly,
that is.
that's the way the society makes you feel, you know? It's like, well, if you're 26, you don't have a career, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, I feel like a better way to put it is you should have a job that's paying your bills and you're not living in your parents' basement anymore. But you don't have to have it all figured out.
No, and trust me, I do not have it all figured out. I just finally found my passion. Like, I'm just getting started. I mean, I have a long road ahead of me with this career.
So now you know you're gonna have a stinger in your hand, you got a shield on your head, and you got something that you want to do.
For the rest of my life.
So where do you see that going? Like, could you do that for your working on a project from somebody for the next 30 years?
Yeah.
You'd be happy doing that. Shield down, just running a bead
every day
on somebody's project.
Every day. What I don't like is, you know, I take passion in my welds and my art and everything. So I don't want to be pressured onto them, you know, like production and stuff like that I was mentioning. I like my time in it, you know, like I want this to look nice. This is important. This isn't art. You know, you can't mess this up. It's very important.
You said it twice now. This is an art, and I think, man, if people who
They
feel
don't
that
understand
way,
it.
there's so many ways to do that, right? So certainly welding, right? We already talked about how that's an art, but man, electrical work is an art too.
Carpentry, all of it.
Have you ever opened up an electrical panel and just seen it look just perfect and
Yes.
neat? Right? That's an art, isn't it?
I can't do it. Like,
I can't do it. I can only talk
do
about it.
at
I can't do
all.
any of this stuff, right?
Yes, it is absolutely an art. Doing all of these things with your hands and then seeing the progress you can make is amazing, and it's an amazing feeling to have.
That's fantastic. And I asked a minute ago if you'd work on somebody else's project for the next 30 years like that. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way at all. And what we've been trying to bring forth as we've been doing these and bring out these stories there's so many different pathways. Like I feel like
So
some
many.
parents are afraid to have their kids go into the trades, to use you as an example, to say, well, you're going to be a welder for the rest of your life, as though that's a bad thing.
It's not.
And it's not. But there's so many other pathways that I would say you haven't even thought about yet. Like when you're sitting
Absolutely.
here as a new welder saying this is an art, and you've used that several times, the opportunities and where that can take you, because there's shipbuilding, aircraft,
All of
there's
it.
structural stuff, but there's a lot of artistic stuff that could be done as well. Things that need to be made to look good that
Yeah.
require welding.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
But you asked me earlier, my goal is I want to become a traveling structural welder. It's like bridges and tunnels, windmills, all of that stuff.
Can you see yourself hanging off
Yes.
I haven't said it yet. Can you see yourself, give me a chance, would you?
I already knew it.
Can you see yourself hanging off of a 300-foot windmill tower
Yep.
off Virginia here?
Yep,
And that doesn't intimidate
Nope.
you?
not at all.
Have you done anything like that yet?
I have not, but I want to.
You've been
And
a
I'm
grounded welder so far.
I have been a grounded
But you
welder.
want to get up.
But I want to. I want to get up there. I want to take, my size and everything I have to my advantage. And I think that would be definitely to my advantage.
Why do you say that? Why do you say your size
Because
is an
I'm
advantage?
5'2" and I'm $130.
Has anybody told you that's an advantage or disadvantage?
Absolutely. When you're doing ships and submarines, bridges, tunnels, all of that, you have all of these crevices and cracks and crannies that a lot of people can't get into. I mean, you are in tight corners.
So at 5'2" and $130, as you put it, has that limited you in anything that you've needed to do yet?
It's limited me in what people can see in me. I get underestimated a lot, but has it limited me in how I work? Absolutely not.
The bead kind of doesn't care, right?
No.
It's a
I
good-
do everything normal. I don't have any hard, I haul alloy every day, like I said, metal, and I use a hoist, and those alloy is over 400 pounds. Now it is on a hoist, but I am moving that with my hand, back and forth, up, down, left, right, all day long.
So if somebody feels like maybe I don't have the physical strength for this,
You do. You just don't realize it.
because there's tools available, right? Nobody expects you to carry that 400 pounds on your back.
No. Actually, the limit is 25 pounds. So there's a lot of things that people don't realize. Like a lot of, especially women, they're like, I can't be a welder. What? Like it's all heavy lifting, and that's not actually the case. Actually, you have better hand-eye coordination than you think.
Especially if you've got an artistic talent to
Exactly.
begin with. Yeah. It's just working with a different medium.
It is. It's all just different things. It took me a while to figure it out. It really did. And like I said before, I never thought I'd be here.
I got to tell you, these conversations that we've had, I've had to stop and ask somebody, hey, what's fun about what you're doing? And I feel like it's a pointless question now. Is there anything that's not fun that you don't like? Let me flip it around. What's not fun? What do you not like about what you do?
I was gonna say I don't like being underestimated, but I like proving people wrong. So like, there's not. I love it. I love my career is my passion. And that's something that is very, very, very hard to find in today's world, is a job you love. A passion that is career.
Why do you think that is?
Because people get stuck in a bubble and they don't want to venture out and find what they actually love. I think people get into a job and they get stuck in the job, they move up the ranks, even if they're happy or not happy, and they just stay there. And they don't venture out to find what they love.
Yeah, there's this old story about a drunk who loses his keys at night, and he's looking around under the streetlight. And somebody says to him, "Where are your keys at?" I lost them over there. "Why are you looking under the light?" Because that's what a light is. They're looking in the wrong place.
Exactly.
Right? They're trying to find happiness in something they know isn't going to make them happy.
There.
So they pursue something else in there, whether it's money or power or something, but it's not the thing that actually makes them happy. But it's scary sometimes to peer into the darkness and go, I got to go find happiness in something I don't really know.
I think most people settle because they're scared of change.
So at 25, and you mentioned you had a challenging upbringing, which could either scare the daylights out of you or give you confidence saying, I've been through something already. But what would you say to somebody else that's sitting here watching this right now and thinking, I don't know if I could have that conversation with my papa and say, I don't want to go to college, or I don't think college is right now, or I want to try something different. What would you say to somebody like that?
They're not going to hate you. That's one of the kids' worst feelings, is like, they're going to hate me, they're going to resent me, because I don't want to do this. They're not going to hate you, When I told my papa about that, he was actually proud of me. To this day, he says, I told you so, every time I call him. So that's one thing, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, At that point, you're a growing adult and you need to tell them what is right and what is wrong. And it's okay to have an opinion. And it's okay for your parents to not agree on that opinion.
Have you ever thought, since you've been on this path, maybe I want to go back to an industry I'm comfortable in? Maybe I should go back to college?
Nope. So the only time I've thought about it...
Want to take a minute and think about it?
The only time I've thought about it is because of my job I have right now, with all the work I do a lot of work and it's a lot of stress. I have thought about maybe I'll leave this job and go bartend and get another welding job, but I stay there because it's important to me.
Tell me about that stress. Are you stressed about it right now?
No.
No. It's at the job.
It's a work environment and it's production. So everything...
Shield up, walk out the door. How do you feel?
Good. I get the work done when we get out, but it's a lot of pressure because it's, like I said, production. So it has to go now, it has to go fast. But I want someone to appreciate my welds, These welds I do, they're just going to casting and it melting down into an airplane part. I want to make that airplane part.
Any concerns about getting a different job if you wanted a shorter commute, a different environment, want to work on a different project? How confident are you to say, if I change my mind right now, I could find another job pretty easily?
So if I switched a job, I would go back to the restaurant industry. Finding a trade, it's not that it's hard, but as a welder, you're looking around and everyone always wants 3 to 5 years experience, which actually is the same thing as a bartender. They always want a bartender with experience. So it's very hard at this age. That's the main problem with, honestly, every company you have. It's like, oh, well, I'm a new welder. I'm a new engineer. I do HVAC. It's like, okay, well, how many years do you have? None, I just got certified. And then that's when the problem comes in, is nobody wants a new welder, they want an experienced welder.
That can't be true, because you got hired on as a new welder.
It took 4 companies, but I did it.
So you think 4 companies is a lot?
No.
I would tell you I don't think 4 interviews is a lot for anybody.
No, 4 was the 4 I got. I applied way more than 4 companies. I probably applied to 20.
And then you got 4 interviews?
4 interviews. I got one of them. I did it, but it wasn't easy. But honestly, if it's something you want to do, all you have to do is put your foot in the door and keep trying. Because I was turned down a few times. I just kept trying. I didn't give up.
I think that resistance is coming down. The more people are retiring out, the more companies are coming to the realization that we're going to have to hire new people and we're going to have to teach them. You're right. Everybody wants that experienced tradesperson.
And that's what I'm saying is these people that are aging out, should be training the new people coming in.
That's not your problem anymore. You've got experience.
No, it's not, but doesn't that make sense?
And the easiest, the best time to go looking for a job is when you've got a job.
Right.
So you've got experience now, you've worked someplace, you can run I assume you can run a good bead.
No.
Getting better all the time, right? Which is why
I'm
we're
lying.
here.
I run good beads.
I mean, because you're actually here, you graduated from here, but you're back learning a new skill now.
Yes. So I'm certified in 3 different types of welds: stick, MIG, and flux. And I'm here for my last certification, which is TIG.
And how long have you been doing this?
A year.
A year.
Like all of my classes, this class, I've only been in it for a week, but I've been a certified welder for a year now.
And working for how long?
Over 6 months at this company. So I started last August with my stick class, ended in late November, early December, and then I ended with my flux, and then I got this job like early April, March, April, and I've been there since.
That's pretty good. Who's paying for this training?
This one right here?
Yeah, the one class you're taking now.
Like who's paying?
Are you paying for it? Is your company paying for it?
So the schooling is free. I don't know.
Free schooling?
I don't know all the details for everybody, but the school is the whole reason I got this opportunity. Like the Skilled Trades Academy is the reason I am where I'm at now, and that's why I promote this so much, is because of the reason I was in the system. Because I was in the foster care system and aged out, that's why I got free schooling. Like I got granted to come here because of what happened. Foster kids get free schooling. Now there is other grants and other amazing things. I know they do, y'all do a lot of stuff, honestly, for schooling. They do a lot of grants. I know the city of Mayor was offering kids in the city of Portsmouth grants if they wanted to come to school here. But my schooling is absolutely free if I work hard and I succeed.
What could be better than that?
Exactly. You just have to want it, you know?
Yeah, and then you got to show up and do the work.
Exactly.
And after that, it's all easy.
Yep. No, not at all. Not at all. But the schooling here, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to afford it. I mean, I live on my own. I've been independent since I was 18. I aged out the system, and I've been living on my own ever since. So I came across this, and when I found out that I had financial aid for it, I was like, I'm going.
It's a deeply personal story that maybe not everybody would tell, and I'm so glad that you are telling it, because what I would hope people would take out of that is, no matter their circumstance, if they want out, if they want up and better, there's opportunity to do that if you seize that opportunity, and there's help available to get there.
And that's the thing, is like a lot of, especially kids in my circumstances, they don't see that, they don't know that, you know. I did a speech recently here, and it's actually all true. Statistically, less than 10% graduate high school, less than 1% go to college, and even fewer get a degree.
Nowhere in there did anybody track how many of them go into a trade, and learn to be a craftsman.
Well, degree or certification, but yeah. It's definitely something that I have taken full advantage of, and I'm so thankful for this academy because of the opportunities it has given me.
And that is the Tidewater Community College Skilled Trades Academy. Let's say that again so everybody gets that, right?
The TCC Skilled Trades Academy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, no. Because of these people here, my instructors, and the instructors here are all very experienced. And if they can see that you have a heart for this and you care about it, they will not let you down. They will help you until the end.
You just said you're one of 6.
Yes.
Are they all in the system?
Yes.
Any of them following you? Something like this?
So my brother and, actually, yeah, we're all in trades. My brother's an electrician. My other brother's a carpenter. My other brother is a supervisor at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard. So, actually, we're all in trades. And I didn't even think about that until you said it out loud. And then my cousin is a welder. My uncle, he welds, the one who passed, like I said. And now his son, which is my cousin, he's a welder now. And he did weld at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard. And now he welds someplace else. I don't know where it's at, but he does helicopters. So we're all in trades.
And all succeeding at it.
Yep, we're all killing it.
Where are you in that family lineage? Oldest, youngest,
So
middle?
I am the oldest girl and the third child.
So you've got some who are younger than you.
Mm-hmm. I have two older brothers, and the two older brothers are the ones that work at Norfolk Naval, the supervisor, and then I have the electrician. And then there's me, the welder, and then there's my little brother, who is, what does he do?
Carpenter?
Yeah, carpentry. He does he does fixing up houses and stuff like that too. Mm-hmm. So all of that stuff. He loves like housework, like remodeling homes and all that. He loves it. And then my little sister, she's still figuring it out, and so is the other one.
So there's an opportunity to get 2 more welders in.
Yeah, so I'm trying to convince my youngest sister to do a trade because she doesn't know what she wants to do. And I'm like, she's like, well, I don't want to go to college, Katie. I don't want to go to school. And I'm like, well, come join me. You can do a trade. I was like, I would show you how to weld. And actually, my papa called me the other night and was talking about her to me and was like, you really need to talk to your little sister, Katie. Like, we got to figure something out.
We have talked to people that started out saying that I don't want to go to college. They get into the trades and they start learning what that trade is all about and then start figuring out what they would go back to school for.
That's what happened. And now let me remind you, the sister that he's telling this to is the same age that he was telling me this to at that age. So she's thinking, heck no, I'm not going to do that. I guarantee you in a few years she'll be calling me.
I'd be a huge hypocrite if I said to somebody, you don't need or you don't want to go to college. But when I went to college is different than the environment now. Like my parents, I guess, could afford to send me to college because I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And I had to go to college for that. But if I didn't know that I wanted to go into the Navy, I don't know what I was going to college for because I was not passionate about being an engineer. And I told that story to somebody else recently that they didn't feel like they were ready for it, didn't really want to go to college. They get into this field and now they're working on an associate's in mechanical engineering and they've already got plans to go back and get a bachelor's degree.
Yep.
Now to me that makes perfect sense if you don't know what you want to do, but then to see it practically and be engaged in fixing a problem, working on a project and understanding what that person does, or maybe it's QA, or maybe it's writing business proposals and being on the management of the financial side, but it's just too darn expensive to go to college to figure something out, and you might figure out that's not what you want to do. Yeah. So coming into the trades and getting some business experience, because you can go back. That's
another reason I went to community college, is because when I first, when I was younger in high school, I wanted to do the 4-year, but I have no money. Like I couldn't afford it. So I went online and just kept applying grants and loans and all this. And I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. This is too much. And then still I was in debt. Like after all the grants and loans, I still had a student loan. Like I did all the math and I was like, forget it. It's not worth it. So then I went to community college and then found out that I don't even want to go to college. So.
Do you think about it now? Can you see that somewhere in your future? To go to college for something based on what you've learned? No?
No, I love what I do.
How about being a weld engineer?
I want to be a welder.
I hope we keep this thing going for 5 or 10 years because I want to come back and I want to see if that changes.
It's not gonna.
I'm not gonna predict it, and it's not a bad thing if it does or it doesn't.
I hope you see my progress in the 5 to 10 years. I hope I come back.
I want to see, Katie, is a row of dimes.
Around this country, I voted on that bridge, that tunnel, that windmill. Like I did it. That's what I hope. But honestly, welding is something that takes time. I mean, I would be lying if I told you I went in there and I was a rock star on day 1. No, I almost walked out. It took so much dedication. My instructors, who helped me so much, and they saw the passion I had, that I just didn't give up.
Would you start out welding? Stick welding?
Stick.
So when I worked at Fairlead, and I've told this story, these guys have heard it already, I said I was going to learn how to put metal down. Not that I was going to be a welder, but I was going to learn how to put metal down.
You just wanted to tack it.
And sure enough, this guy who's 15 years older than me, still working in the industry, and he's trying to teach me to weld. So I'm working after hours one day, and puts me on stick first. I'm like, really, stick first? My plate looked like Custer did after Little Bighorn, right? I just stuck in there, couldn't get it to start. Once it started, I couldn't keep it going. Yeah.
So you just kept going like.
I couldn't drag it. I don't have the touch, right? But that's what's so beautiful about welding in particular. Like if you have that skill, it is a work of art. And I know we said this already, but it's a true work of art. It's a thing of beauty.
It's crazy because I didn't know that.
Not everybody can do that.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that. And when I went in here and ran my first bead ever, I ran the whole thing. I didn't get stuck once. Like I literally lit it like a match and just ran, and it was stick.
You've got a fantastic backstory and a present story, and you got a really good way of telling that to people, and we need more of that. That's what we're trying to do here. And I would encourage you that when you are offered the opportunity, and I hope there are many, to get out there in front of people and tell as much of that story as you're comfortable telling, because we need good people to come in, because too many of us are leaving the industry now, and like I started out saying, there's a gap, and we need to fill that gap, because everything that the nation needs right now comes down to people with a tool in their hand going to do that work. Whether it's your plumbing, your electrical work, whether it's a bridge that needs to be built or replaced or repaired, or whether we're going to build this wind farm offshore. Ultimately, no amount of just planning and talking about it's going to get it done. It's going to be people like you with a tool in their hand, ready to go to work and do good work on important stuff.
Exactly. And a lot of people, like you said, don't know that this is an option, and it's an amazing option to have. Some people just don't know it's out there. But if you do and you take it, I promise you won't regret it.
Well, you're helping to get people to know about it. So.
And along with me telling my story, that's actually another reason I did this podcast, is because I did the speech. And I'm not a big social speaker. I actually have a lot of social anxiety.
I think you were honest at everything you said until you said that nonsense.
No one believes it, but I do. I swear. I'm over here shaking like a leaf, but you don't know. But after I did it, and so many people came over to me and were so motivated and, tearing up, and, I could tell I moved people. And I was like, I want to do this. I want to put my story out there and show people that you can come from ground zero and make something of yourself. Because I did all of this on my own. And I can only, blame myself for it, because I did this.
With some help.
Yes, but with the help of the Skilled Trades Academy, I have honestly gone so far in my life from where I was to who I am now. I was living the nightlife. I was a bartender. I would close a bar and go to a bar. Now I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and weld all day long. My life has literally took a 180.
How long did it take you to make that transition?
Like I said, probably about 6 months, I've been a welder for a year, been there for a year, working at this company for a little over 6 months. But in between those 6 months, I was still bartending and trying to find a welding job. Now the adjustment with this job, it took a good 1 to 2 months for me to start waking up, because I was so used to going to bed at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, because I was closing bars. So I had to completely change my whole sleep routine and everything.
You happy about it?
I am.
No regrets?
No, actually, not at all. I'm very happy about it. And now I wake up in the morning bright and early. I see people. I talk to people. I'm happy. I'm not sleeping in all day, working a bar, going to another bar at night, sleeping in all day, going back to work at the bar. I think it's a healthier option for me and a lifestyle that's better for me.
That's great. Thank you so much for your time today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
This has been a really fun interview, and thank you for your time today.
Of course.
And thank you to TCC Skilled Trades Academy for doing this late on a Friday afternoon on a day where they might not otherwise be here.
Thank you.
So, thank you.